Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Noxious Masculinity, where we're waging war against the battle of the sexes, and we're ending it with communication, understanding, and love. And this is definitely a place where we are putting an end to the topic of toxic masculinity. There is no such thing. There is either true masculinity or non-masculinity, and that's pretty much it. Recap of our last session, we were talking about being able to live with love in your heart, even when it's painful. And this is a very tough thing to do as a man. It does require a lot of practice and patience with yourself to be able to reach that point of, understanding that your man cave is definitely a place of solitary, but as well, you don't want to be lost in your cave. You want to learn how to embrace pain and understand that pain is meant for you to grow. And the only way to reach your true masculinity is to understand that you need to go through hardships in order to become the greatest version of yourself. So always live with love in your heart. After you've been able to understand this, you move to a next level in your metamorphosis in your true masculinity, which is self awareness. Self awareness, um, in a way of being able to understand your fears and the things that you are afraid of happening or afraid of going wrong. So you make choices based upon that. And as well as knowing who you are and what you offer to the world. If you're a real good athlete, but, maybe intellectual things are not your forte, then you don't go into conversations, trying to show people how intellectual you are when that's not your greatest skill set. Um, that just has to do with being self aware of who you are and what you have to offer to the world. If there is a subject that is at hand that you do not understand, then to be truly authentic to yourself is to know that, hey, this is something that is out of my league of understanding. And with this self awareness and being able to comprehend this, you're able to understand your fear and admit to your fear. And being able to admit to your fears is a giant leap in your true masculinity of who you are. Every man has fear. And a man who doesn't have fears or acts like he doesn't have fears is a man that no one will be able to trust because no one knows your edge. And so being able to understand this and admit to yourself who you are, now you will be able to be your true authentic self and fully be engaged in every situation. You won't just be talking out of your ass, as a saying. And being able to understand that your words have value. And so understanding that when you talk only about things that you know, the respect level for you around the world, whoever it is that you're dealing with, it goes up. And that is how you continuously operate in your true masculinity. But you have to be self aware first. And E should never determine of whether you are, pardon me, capable of doing something. Um, Self awareness knows that, hey, there's something that I could be accomplishing, but I'm not accomplishing it because I'm choosing to watch too much TV or I'm choosing to, play too many video games or hang out too much. And I'm not putting in the effort that it would take to accomplish the things that I'm trying to accomplish. And a lot of times it's easy for us to want to take the easy route. It's really just a feeling of being afraid of something. And so we stick to the things that we know because we're too afraid of actually realizing how great that we really are and are becoming of greatness. So a goal for you should be to be honest with yourself. And that's, first most. And then learn how to be honest with everyone that you encounter. And when there's times, when there's subjects that come up that you have no knowledge about, don't be afraid to say, hey, this is something that I don't know about. And these are the steps that you take to, moving in your true masculinity. So the goal should be to, be honest with yourself and others. And a quote that you should try to remind yourself is, a fearful man is more trustable than a man who isn't aware of his fear. So a man that isn't aware of his fears is least likely to be trusted, not only by his family members, but his woman. And in the growth of your true masculinity, which we'll get into later, but your woman is going to have a lot to do with you operating in your true masculinity. So your next step in being self aware is being able to live as though the people who love you most and put expectations on you, as an example, maybe your father or your mother who, have these goals that they've set within themselves for you, and they criticize you should you not reach these things. And so you need to be able to be comfortable with living a life free from these expectations and criticism. Not saying that expectations and criticism isn't a healthy thing, but you don't want to live a life that is determined by what others have set up for yourself in your true masculinity. It will hinder you from being your fullest self and your fullest potential. So being able to, understand that it's okay to, pardon me, learn to like listen to people and hear them out and, understand that these people want you to succeed, as well as being able to, live a life without expectations and without criticism hindering you from doing what it is that you truly want to do. So if mom and dad told you that you need to go to school to be a doctor, and maybe you did go to school to be a doctor, or maybe you're in the process of doing these things, but deep down inside, you really just wanted to be a dancer. And that's something that you always wanted to do. Then you should find time, at least, as a goal, you should find at least an hour, maybe 2 hours a day to put time into the things that you don't do because of the expectations that are put on you. And to try to do these things by blocking out the expectation. You should try to see yourself as the guider and the master of yourself. And you take in information from others and the criticism of others to make yourself better, but it's not the basis of what you live your life on. So learn to live free of expectations and criticism is your next step in developing your self-awareness. After you've been able to, know who you are and not fake it and live free of expectations and criticism, then your next step is to be able to live and be who you are and make choices in your life to please yourself and not to please others. A lot of times as men, we will sacrifice who we are to please our woman or to please our parents or to please our friend. And this is not operating in your true masculinity. And it's actually hindering the people around you because you're not giving them your true gift and you're just aiming to please. I mean, it's always a good thing to listen. The first step of, being able to understand people and yourself is to be able to communicate. And communication involves listening and then understanding. And then after you're able to understand, you're able to love completely. And love sometimes involves you making choices that aren't going to please other people. But to give your fullest self to them, you have to be able to always be residing in who it is and what it is you are and what you have to offer to the world. And a man who is constantly listening and doing what others tell him to do, he's devaluing and betraying his own deepest knowledge and intuition. You know, you're basically turning your back on your spirit, which knows what it is that you're here to accomplish and what it is you're here to do and give to the world. And so by betraying your wisdom and your deepest knowledge, you're basically saying that, you know, I don't believe in myself enough to make the correct choice. And you disempower yourself and you hold yourself back. And what ends up happening is you tend to place blame on others when things don't go the correct way, and you lose your masculinity in being responsible and accountable for everything that it is that you do in life. You know, your true masculinity comes from being able to take responsibility for your actions and be accountable for your actions. And when you're always listening to others when things go awry, then you're able to point the finger to them. And then that, you know, in return, you know, affects the relationship that you have with the people that you chose to listen to. And you begin to resent them, you know. And this is something that really extends from yourself not being, you know, faithful enough in your own decision. And so something that I think that you should be able to ask yourself is, what does my innermost wisdom say? You know, I hear what mom is saying. I hear what my woman is saying. I hear what dad is saying. Now, how do I take all of this information into calculation and then make the decision that I have for myself and what I believe is the right thing? And when you're able to do this, people will have more trust in you and they will be able to, excuse me, respect you on an even level. And that is where your true masculinity is able to shine, when people are able to respect for the man that you are and the person that you are, because they know that you are going to make decisions and you're going to stand by you're going to stand by them. And should you make these choices and things don't go the right way, and now you can blame yourself, well, when you're able to blame yourself, that gives yourself an opportunity to grow. That gives you game tape to be able to learn from, to say, okay, in the future I will never make this mistake again. But if you never give yourself a chance to be wrong, then you never give yourself a chance to grow. So being able to, you know, take responsibilities for your actions and not make choices to please others is the steps in moving towards that. Um, so beyond that, and understanding who yourself is, you know, I think that you should take a lot of time and, you know, spend it with yourself on getting to know who you are and what it is that you truly desire. And that's something that's been a theme throughout the session. Figuring out who you are, what it is that you're here to do, and what is it that you're here to give. A man is here to give, not receive. Your receiving comes from the love that you give. And so understand that being self aware of who you are, what you have to offer, by giving that, in return waters the seeds that are already within you to continuously grow in who you are and what you are and bring clarity to your life. And that is how we end our way of being, you know, toxic. So hopefully this session has been something that was, you know, positive for you and something that you can learn from. I hope that each session is something that you can go back to and listen to and take notes from. A reaction from the question of the day for the last session was, should men look at and or compliment other women? And I believe that this, you know, is based upon the relationship. Um, you should know where your relationship stands and know how healthy you are and how healthy your woman is, in being able to appreciate other things and other women. In a world where your woman is constantly competing with other women, the last thing that she wants is to compete with other women within her relationship. And unless she's healthy enough to understand that you don't want other women and you're able to appreciate other things and other women besides her, then you should probably, find a communication with her and to understand where you guys stand. And usually, excuse me, you know where you stand on that pretty right away. I would say in the beginning, you know what type of woman that you have and that you're feeling. So the new question of the day will be: should men have a say so in what their girlfriends wear? This is another question that I get asked a lot, and it's come up in many conversations of mine. And I think that, um, you know, other people should give their opinion on it. So I think the question of the day is a really good question of the day, because in the time that we live in now, especially with women empowerment, which is a very good thing, there seems to be lost, I guess you can say, respect for others. And the man has to always be respectful of others, just like the woman has to always be respectful of others. We are not the same, but we definitely are equals in this. So, should men have a say so in what their girlfriends wear? Would love to hear back. And the book of the day, like always, we'd like to give a book of the day. And the book of the day for today is The Power of Awareness by Neville. It's a very easy, good read, something that's very healthy for yourself. And it goes exactly with what we're talking about in this session. So, The Power of Awareness by Neville, really, really good book. And I hope you get it. To end the session, we will end it with self affirmation. I am. Therefore, I am happy. I am. Therefore, I am loving. I am. Therefore, I am honest. I am. Therefore, I am dedicated. I am. Therefore, I am positive. I am. Therefore, I am powerful. I am. Therefore, I am wise. I am. Therefore, I am understanding. I am. Therefore, I am purposeful. I am. Therefore, I will forgive myself should I come short of my ideals, one day at a time. Thank you for joining. Hopefully, you join us for the next one. Until then, God is good. Let the church say, Our Lady. Stay suave and stay safe.